It's not another bad fire weather day. This is as bad as it gets.
Australia experienced its hottest February day recorded, reaching 109 degrees Fahrenheit. More than 1,000 firefighters struggled to contain massive fires that broke out and smoke billowed. Fireworks were even exploding in this guy's car due to the heat.
That's why you don't leave fireworks in a hot car.
Another guy attempted to make bacon and eggs in his car. After a successful experiment, he offered others a taste.
That's pretty good. Anyone else want to try?
Zookeepers at the Symbio Wildlife Park helped keep koalas hydrated and cool with water bottles and wet cloth.
The situation has deteriorated and increased the levels of air pollution by 8%, so the situation is getting worse. And we know that 80% of the urban population living in cities where we collect data on air pollution are exposed to very high levels of air pollution and therefore resulting on diseases.
More than half of the deaths from dirty air around the world coming from just 2 countries. A study from the US-based Health Effects Institute released on Tuesday says pollution in China and India killed 2.2 million people in 2015. The 2 countries now rank neck and neck as the world's worst offenders. Tuesday's study showing that a staggering 92% of the world's population lives in areas with unhealthy.
There is currently less ice surrounding the Antarctic continent today than at any point in time since recording began in 1979. Mark Serez, the director of the National Snow and Ice Data Center, said, as of Tuesday, it looks like we hit a new record low in the satellite era.
79 people dead from bird flu in the past month alone. Fears are rising that China could be facing the most dangerous season on record. January's death rate was 4 times higher than previous years, bringing the toll to at least 100 people since October. State media has issued a warning online telling people to avoid live poultry markets. And according to one virus expert who spoke to Reuters, there's been a slower than usual response to the outbreak from the markets themselves, some refusing to shut down quickly and contain the spread. The government says there's been over 300 bird flu cases in the past 3 to 4 months. But other health groups say that number is actually much higher. Chicken prices in China have fallen to their lowest level in a decade as the virus worsens. And although no major human-to-human spread has been recorded so far, the World Health Organization says it's impossible to rule out.
How does this rate in the storms that you've seen over the years?
On a scale of 1 to 10, probably about 7 or 8. It's a lot of blowing.
Definitely, this is a proper winter storm. I love it. I'm a winter sexual. I love the snow. I love to ski, sledding, skating. It's all good.
And are you staying home from work today?
Yes, I'm a teacher, so I was aware last night that we were going to have a snow day.
The Oroville Dam, they dedicated it in 1968. It's a big deal. It's huge. It is taller than Hoover Dam. It's the tallest dam in the United States. It's 770 feet tall. It was completed in 1968. Took them almost a decade to build. The dam itself, almost 800 feet tall. You can see here the giant reservoir that was created when they built the dam. That's Lake Oroville. It's one of the 2 biggest reservoirs in the state of California. And that reservoir, Lake Oroville, it's basically the central thing in the grand plan that made California work as a state with a huge population and big cities and tons of irrigated farmland. This is the centerpiece of the whole system in California that moves water from the northern part of the state in the Sierra Nevadas down into the Central Valley to irrigate the most productive farmland in the country, and further down to the cities and the population centers in Southern California. Lake Oroville is massive. It is made possible because the Oroville Dam is massive, tallest dam in the country. In terms of sort of how it's situated here, this actually gives you a pretty good view, I think. You see below the dam, that's the Feather River. The Feather River, big river, flows into the, I think, the Sacramento River, which ultimately flows into the San Francisco Bay at the end of the day. And what they do here is they can release water from that giant reservoir into the Feather River. They really want to move a lot of water out of the reservoir down into the river. What they do is they use this big gutter. They use this big concrete spillway. It's a big concrete spillway, and it does exactly what it looks like it does. It takes water off the top of the reservoir and can shoot it down that gutter into the Feather River. And it's really big. It's about a mile long. It's made of concrete. It is a key part of this huge piece of American infrastructure. This is what it looks like in normal times when it's dry, when they're not using the spillway. This is what it looks like in normal times when it's on, when they are putting water down that spillway. Very dramatic, right? But on Tuesday afternoon this week, this is what it looks like again, normal times. Tuesday afternoon this week, something went wrong at the Oroville Dam. And instead of the spillway looking like this, like it always does, like it has since Ronnie and Nancy Reagan opened that thing up in 1968, for the first time ever, this Tuesday, it did not look like that. Instead, it looked like, oh, wait, that's not right. That's not what that's supposed to look like. That was Tuesday afternoon. See it shooting out the side there? See all the muddy water? Yeah. Tuesday afternoon, they realized something was going very wrong on that spillway. Water shooting out all sorts of places where it's not supposed to be, scouring down that hillside, the water not confined to that gutter. What's going on? They shut it off to have a look. And what they saw is, oh, this is what it looked like. This was Tuesday of this week. You see the giant hole there. That is a problem. Basically, a giant sinkhole opened up right in the middle of that spillway. And obviously, every second they're going to put more water down that sluice. It's going to erode that sinkhole more and more. So they, shut off the water initially. Here's the thing, though. They can't keep that water shut off. Because even though that giant hole has opened up in that spillway, they actually have to run water down that spillway right now. They can't stop. Because Lake Oroville, up at the top, it's full. As of midday today, it was at 98% capacity. California is not having a rainy season this year. They are having basically a monsoon season. And oh, yay, let's see what that means for the drought, blah, blah, blah. Right, I know. Big questions about overall climate and weather and California's drought and all that stuff. Right. But for the immediate problem at hand, if they can no longer run water down that spillway, because the spillway is busted, if they can no longer run water down that spillway to relieve the pressure in that lake, if the lake fills up and overfills and overtops that dam, if that happens, the water doesn't run down the tidy little purpose-built concrete chute into the Feather River below. If it overtops the dam, instead, for the first time in the history of this dam, where the water goes is what they call down the emergency spillway, which is not really a spillway at all. It just means the water just comes down the hill.
The Lake Oroville Emergency Spillway, that is an area that is off of the regular, adjacent to the regular spillway. They've been using the emergency spillway because there's been so much water here in this reservoir. Officials began to fear late last night that the spillway, the emergency spillway, could breach, sending a wave, a 30-foot wave of water cascading into communities downstream. They immediately evacuated 188,000 people, evacuating those folks as quickly as they can, sending them to safer ground.
The very latest now, right now, no water is going over the emergency spillway, and the threat of spillway failure is dropping. That's the good news, but emergency evacuation orders are still in effect.
Repair crews are continuing their work on a fix at the emergency spillway. They're loading boulders onto the spillway to help prevent it from failing.
Crews are racing against Mother Nature to finish crucial repairs at the emergency spillway at the Oroville Dam.
What a difference a few days makes. I'll tell you, Sunday, when those mandatory evacuations went into place, lake levels were extremely high. Today, they are noticeably lower, especially on the other side of the lake. That lip that is exposed was once covered on Sunday. Now, the Department of Water Resources are telling us the lake level now sits at 32 feet below the emergency spillway height. Now, despite weather conditions, crews continue to work around the clock and are making progress with emergency repairs. Barges and cranes have been mobilized to remove debris and sediment from the diversion pool. Now, those efforts are designed to restore the normal flow of water into the diversion pool and through the Hyatt power plant. Meanwhile, 100,000 cubic feet of water per second continues to flow through the flood control spillway in an effort to accommodate anticipated inflow in upcoming storms. Now, I'll tell you, we've seen a lot of rain already here in Oroville today, and it's only going to last going through the evening and over the next several days. So crews doing as much as they can to shore up that spillway.
Southern California is in the bullseye. The most powerful storm in years, unleashing a month's worth of rain in a single day. These are roads, not rivers, and it's just getting started. 70-mile-an-hour winds, flash flooding, and mudslides are in the forecast.
If I see it's gonna get really, really bad, I'm out of here.